I am so excited to bring you this 4-day series. So we're doing it live. There's still time to join if you want to come inside the community, but we are doing the Profitable Podcast Bootcamp. And today we are talking about how we need to get clear. So many podcasts fail because they are all over the place. There is no clear purpose for the show. Congratulations for being a podcaster, first off, but that clarity is what is going to take you to the next level. So why Profitable Podcast CPR? Because we've got to get clear on our people, our passions, and add in some play so that we can revive our revenue and rev up our inner fire. And today we are getting crystal clear so that we can duct tape our boat together and get across that sea. So if you are wanting to take your podcast to the next level, these next 4 days are going to be so incredibly important to you. It's basically like giving you a free podcast audit plus a 30-day action plan to revive your podcast and start bringing in some revenue from your show. So instead of boring you, I'm just going to get into it. Welcome to the podcast about podcasting, where you guessed it, we're talking all things podcasting, but not just in the sense of strategy of how to launch, grow, and monetize your show. Of course, you're going to get that, but we're going deep into how podcasting can actually help you build your community, build your confidence, and if you're willing to lean deep into this platform, it can be the ticket to the life of your dreams, because it'll inspire you to go deeper, to get to know yourself. And as we know, success starts from within. If you are ready to stop being a ripple in this world and bust out your tsunami of change you know you were made for, it's podcasting for your soul. I'm your host, Jen Dragonette, so let's dig in. Welcome. I'm so excited. You are here. We are talking again, clarity, people, revenue, profitable podcast, and we're going to resuscitate your business and turn it into a profit generating magnet for this new quarter. And I look at new quarters as a new year. I always like to be like, guys, every day is a new day to start, but we are ending out quarter one already. How were your New Year's resolutions? How were all those things? We're going to get some clarity today. So do I have your permission to make up my own words? I have typos. I make up words. I have Jenisms. It's just what it is. I'm going to share from my point of view with passion and with the authority of what I have learned and what I have done for my show, what I have done for my client's show. Again, I have multiple clients that are in everybody's a top 10 or better. I am producing 27 episodes a week right now between my shows and my client shows. So I have a lot of skin in the podcasting game. Sometimes I have to pause for a moment to get grounded because I get overly excited and I just push and I push and I push. And it gets a little overwhelming. I have been called out by this by my best friend, by my mom, by everyone. So if I take a moment and I come back, just take a breath with me. Let me calm down a little bit because this is some exciting stuff. And I'm going to tell it like it is and I'm going to share from my heart. If you have other opinions, I want to know them. If you have feedback, I want to know it because I can't get better. I can't serve you unless you share with me what you have going on. So what we're going to cover today is what priorities do you have and are you currently honoring them? You're like, Jen, but you're reviving my podcast. If you are pushing something out that is out of alignment, your show is going to die. Your business is going to die. It's just going to feel like a whole bunch of poo-poos. We don't want you to feel like it's poo-poos. So I want you to do that. We're going to talk about resuscitating your fire, that inner fire. Discover who you are and what you really actually want for building your course and a podcast. Why is this important and related to podcasting? So all of these things, you're like, Jen, you wanted to do all this. The foundation is the biggest hole I find when I work with coaching clients and with my production clients. We get so far off topic. We have had so many different gurus telling us to do different things. And if I'm not your guru, great. I don't care. Find one that mates with you because that's what it is. Somebody who has the lifestyle. I would not personally, what I've learned is go too far in advance. So for me, when I started hiring millionaire clients, I felt like I got lost in the shuffle. because they didn't remember what it was like to be putting out your first ads, to be doing all the things, because now they have a whole team, they set it and they forget it. And I feel that inside of programs. So I really want you to, that's why we're talking about this and rediscovering where you are, whether you're going to hire a coach, build your business, think about where your client is. And as you grow, it might be worth growing your business with it. I used to help a lot of podcasters, and all of my trainings were on podcast launching. As I've grown, yes, I did just launch another podcast 10 months ago. Yes, I do launch podcasts almost every month, bringing on new clients, helping them and supporting them with it. But I really enjoy helping the growth piece, the getting the money, the getting it clear so that we can start creating these magnets that bring people in. So why get clear? You hear it all the time. If you're not clear, people don't know what you have. And I'm finding this every time. So every time I level up my programs, I do have to tweak who I'm talking to. I have to tweak that I'm talking to a podcaster now, somebody with a podcast or a little bit further along in their journey, maybe has 2 or 3 episodes. At least it's been launched. That's who I'm talking to. Does that mean that people that haven't launched aren't going to come in? No. But you got to talk to your one person. And that was one of the things. I had a conversation with D. Jackson from School of Podcasting, one of my mentors. And he was like, you do it really well. You talk to one person. You don't talk to many. You've got to be clear and not so scared of leaving some people behind, because that is where your podcast just goes to die, where it goes to hit that podfade. And I truly want to be that cure for podfade. So what happens when you're not clear? Well, you become overwhelmed, Olga. This is what your desk looks like. Well, maybe not with taxes and urgent. This looks like somebody who's having a rough time financially. But yeah, you might be having a rough time financially because you're overwhelmed. You're doing all the things. You're following all the gurus. You're showing up in all the different places. I'm really into this. Let's break this overwhelm cycle, because this is one of the top things I'm seeing of people pod fading out. There's the overwhelm. They're making it too complicated. Their show isn't growing and they're not making money from it. There's the top 3 reasons why people are like, screw this, I'm out of podcasting, and why podcasting has 4 million index podcasts and only 250,000 active podcasts. Let me repeat that for you. 4 million indexed podcasts and only about 250,000 are active. Holy smokes. So if you think you're too late to the game because there's 4 million podcasts, hey, you're only competing against the 250,000 that are actually active, if that makes you feel better. Maybe you're successful, Sarah. This is what we want. This is what we want. We want to get this idea. I can. And we want to launch things. And I really love being in other like entrepreneurs and coaches spaces and having mentors and having Ina in my life, because she truly has taught me how to have a small audience and be successful with a small audience. She had never even hit 1,000 followers on any of her platforms, podcasting, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. And she was still able to earn the 6-figure business that everybody's like, oh, I want the 6-figure, that elusive 6 figures. That's what I want to help you get to. I'm working with a person right now that goes from 0 to 6 figures, or maybe is just budging over the 6-figure mark and really wants to use podcasting to go from 1 6-figure to 2 6 figures. That's who I work with. And one of the things she teaches is to really be hyper-focused on your one person and to monetize and nurture the audience you currently have. Because even if you have 100 people or less, I can guarantee you that 6% of those people want what you have. So who are you? Which one? Are you overwhelmed? Or are you successful? Or are you somewhere in between? Which one do you want to be? Well, if you don't want to be successful, Sarah, then you're in the wrong place. So who am I? I already told you. I'm Jen. I am your podcast. I don't like calling myself a guru or a coach or a mentor. If you got a better idea for me, let me know. Like, one of my friends called me a podcast sherpa, and I was like, well, that's kind of fun. But I am somebody who is in the podcast industry, not only for my own shows, but constantly learning. And like I said, I am producing 27 episodes a week right now, which makes me see a lot of the trends, sees what's working, sees what's not working, and I am all in. I want to be the cure for podfade, and fixing these holes is part of it. So if you're tired of pivots, hustling, chasing money, and you're sick of always having to be on social media, podcasting and going at it the right way is really for you. So take a stand, make it easy, scalable, and give up the hustle. So issue 1, you're seeking a quick win and you're following others. Here we go. Some, again, typos, misspellings. It is what it is. Highlighted reel should be highlight reel overnight success. Most people that you're seeing online that are having success, it's very rare that it's snap overnight success. What it truly is, they've spent a lot of time. They may have had 4 or 5 businesses. I just had a podcast interview the other day, and I was talking to her and I'm like, how is it that you're right out the gate for your podcast? You had Pat Flynn, John Lee Dumas, like you had all these huge people. And the thing that I didn't know was that she had already had a podcast that reached like 130 episodes before. She had already gained authority in the podcast world. So when she had the ask, these people had already been on her other show that she was closing down and pivoting into this new thing. But I didn't know that because she started over. And I think this is one of the things that bothers me the most about online space and online coaching is that we don't show the journey enough. So when people come in and they're like, oh, dude, Jen just started her show 10 months ago and she's got 25,000 downloads already. There's no way I'm going to get 25,000 downloads. Guys, this is my 5th podcast. And this is where I really want people to start changing the way that they're doing things when they're attracting people in. This is my 5th podcast. I am only as of right now, if nothing changes, my estimated yearly, annual income is going to be around $85,000. That's a great wage. But remember, I left my government accounting job in end of 2017. So basically I quit on Christmas of 2017. I have been a health coach. I have been a chronic pain coach. I have been a podcast launch coach. I have done the things. I've been in 12 network marketing companies. I've done the things. So make sure that when you're looking at my highlight reel of I'm making this much money from my show and from my clients that I'm, building, which is 50% of my income is from my clients. And the other 50% is from things that I sell through my podcast and my coaching and my masterminds. And guys, I'm really excited. I'm going to be opening up a membership, a really affordable monthly membership so that you can get help through here. Anyways, I'm just excited about it. I'm really excited what's coming down the pipeline, but I'm not an overnight success. And the people that you're seeing online in their journey in this current moment weren't overnight successes either. So this is one of the big issues. Issue number 2 is fear. You need to go all in. If your boat has a hole in it, duct tape it. Duct tape boats still cross the ocean. I flew an airplane. If you don't know, I'm a pilot. I was afraid of flying. I became a private pilot. There were duct tapes on the wings sometimes. It's fine. But you got to push past that fear. Just push past it. You want the fire. You want your internal fire, but these external fires, this external fear of I'm not enough. I'm unworthy. People are going to judge me. I'm afraid to be seen. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that. It's got to change. It's just got to. So you got to go all in, put the duct tape on the holes right now, piecemeal it together. And as you go, each time you pull into port, I don't know why I've gone with boat analogies lately. I haven't sailed. I'm also a sailor. I don't know if you know that. I learned to sail. Anyways, I don't know why I'm in boats right now, but I'm totally needing some water time or something. But you can get across the ocean with this. And every time you pull into port, maybe you've made a little bit more and you have a little bit of time to take some of the duct tape off and have a real fix done. But you got to just get in that boat, slap some things on, right things with the right strategy. Let's be clear here. Let's not put us into overwhelm and misery again. Because fear is a liar. she or he is one messy person. I was just having this conversation with my therapist, and you have this fear, you have this person X, you have this internal voice that's telling you you're not good enough, you're worthless, people aren't going to buy your thing, people aren't going to do your programs, blah, 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 blah. And a lot of that stems from fear. Fear of people judging you, fear of not being enough. Well, guess what? That person is the person that's mentally unstable on the corner talking about the spaghetti monster that's going to kill us all because it's going to throw meatballs at us and we're going to die. Thank you to my therapist for that wonderful analogy, because now when I hear that internal voice, I think of that internal voice saying, spaghetti monster, meatballs are going to kill us. And it makes everything so much easier. But fear is a liar. Fear is trying to keep us safe, because even if we're safe in this current moment and we're miserable, it's still a known miserable. We could have success taken away. So fear is a liar. So fear keeps you in figure out mode, not messy action mode. If you are finding that you are planning and buying calendars and creating content calendars, but you're not actually putting out the stuff, you're afraid to be seen, and it's fear and it's keeping you in figure out mode. I see you over there building Canva graphics, buying another shiny object, doing all the things. I've been there. I still have to fight this internal struggle all the time, because as long as you're learning, as long as you're growing, as long as you're doing any of these things, it's not as scary, right? Because you're still quote unquote working, but you're not quote unquote really working. You're just remaining busy, and busy is going to lead to overwhelm, because you're not going to actually get the time, the effort, the money, all the things that you desire. It's just not going to happen. When we get the answers to get clear and get a soul-aligned purpose and create a step-by-step messy action plan and then take action. Because with clarity, the content, this should be flows. Follows works too, but it flows. Once you're clear, it's easy to create content. So what does fear look like? Perfectionism, overwhelm, hours and hours on social media, overthinking, overplanning, Canva, courses, certifications. Hello, I have 2 associate's degrees, a bachelor's and a master's with a minor, and I have 7 different certifications. Talk about fear and hiding, right? And we need to anchor into our body, and we need to take quick, messy action. Success loves action. If you just sit in planning mode, that's not action. You could have all these great ideas. But Jen, I'm a multi-passionate, overwhelmed entrepreneur. Great. So am I. Do you know how many ideas I have written down? Do you know how many notebooks of different ideas I have that are not podcasting? So many. But it doesn't help me move the needle forward. So I write it down. I leave it in the notebook for when it's time. And if there's something that feels just so good, I launch it and see what happens. So let's dig into who you are, what you desire, and the tsunami legacy impact you want to make in the world. If you didn't grab your workbook, you can still go to podcastcprbootcamp.com, sign up. The workbook will be sent right to you. Even if it's after the day you're watching this on the replay, that workbook will always be there for you so you can follow along. So why are we getting clear? Why is this the first part? Why are we talking about duct tape on your boat? Because it helps you find your theme for your show and your legacy. It helps you create your pitch, and it allows you to keep yourself in check so that you can focus on what's important. These are really important. A theme for your show. If you are a jack of all trades, on your show will not grow and it will fizzle out, and you will suffer from podfade, meaning you'll go from 1 episode a week to every other week to once a month to poof, gone. If you want to grow your show, still the fastest way is paid ads. The second fastest way is this pitching. You need to get on other shows. You need to get in front of other audiences. We don't want to just build our own audience and have to find everybody. So once you have this, and when you're so flippin' excited about it, it's hard to not pitch, and your pitches sound so much better, and keep yourself in check. So it starts with your priorities. Where are you right now in the circle, and where do you want to be? You got to know, are you in alignment or not in alignment? We're not going to go through all these things you can sit with, but if your joy is way down here, hello, no. Or maybe you spent too much time in career and education and your health is tanked. We got to work on this. So create a priority list. What's important to you? And I'm not talking about just in your business and how much money you want in your bank account. I'm like, how much time do you want for freedom? How much time do you want for these different things? And then I want you to start visioning your life. What feelings do you want to feel? And all feels are welcome. Sad, happy. Let's be honest. We can't just live in happy all the time. But what do you want to feel? How do you want to feel? How do you want to look? What are you doing? And then like, what are you doing now that you weren't able to do? Time, money, health. I really want you to vision not just what your business looks like, but what your lifestyle looks like, what you're doing, what your body is like, how you're interacting with your friends and family. Dream big. Don't forget about the small things like being social when you're doing this. For me, sitting in this office all the time is not working. So one of my things on my vision board for Q2 is to get out of the stinking office and to go to a co-work space at least once a week. All that means is I need to get a couple more pieces of equipment so that I can actually do my job on the go without having to be on a laptop, because I've got some health things. Again, going back to this health thing, I don't want my back and my arms to get or my hands to get any worse. So I've got to make sure that my laptop setup for the go is as ergonomic as my home setup. So what is your stand for? What's your legacy? What legacy tsunami do you want to leave behind? You can blend this into your business. Like, I am a stand for people and helping the people release the overwhelm and really step into self-love, and self-love being a core of business, whether that's my podcasting programs, either of my shows. There's a lot of this coming back to self and understanding your own inner fire and things like that. And then I want you to create some IMs. I have Post-its all over my house. I have reminders that go off on my phone a couple times a day. That's like, I'm enough. I'm worthy. I am bringing in money with ease. Like, I have created a ton of these statements, and these will help you when you're stuck, because you're going to get stuck. It's just how it is. Entrepreneurship is the best personal, sorry, my nose is driving me crazy, is the best personal development that you will ever have. So this is something that's really important. And remember, it's only temporary. If you get stuck with that crazy person that's telling you inside you that like the spaghetti monster's coming and going to kill you with meatballs, it's only temporary. You can argue with it, which is exhausting, or you can walk on by, where the voice gets, smaller and smaller and smaller until it's not as big of a deal. But having some like little reminders, like on my desk, I've got like, you are enough, you are worthy, I have high self-esteem and believe that I am valuable. Those are things that I look at and I look around and I can read them and bring back to myself. So that's really important. So some of the things that you want to talk about and you want to remember when you're going through this, are you talking about what you have overcome and learned on this process? I've shared with you a bunch of stories. Like, I've overcome, like, I wanted a podfade. Feed Your Business with Love was getting around 35 to 40 downloads an episode for the entire year. I couldn't get it past that. No matter how much I shared on social media, I was stuck at 45 downloads. I learned a lot. First off, if I walked into a room with 45 people and stood up on stage, I'd probably piss myself. Granted, I am 100% applying to speak on giant stages at some of these podcast events going forward. But I've learned that. I've also learned what doesn't work. Getting people from social media, from the metaverse to podcasting is a lot of work. The metaverse works really well for nurturing my warmer audience. Maybe somebody came from my show, I can nurture through this community, things like that. But I have not had a lot of success getting people from Facebook or Instagram to my show. It's just how it is. So again, I'm sharing stories. I want you to think of these same things. How does this help with content growth and making money? Boom, because your ideal clients was a past version of you, and our stuff still sneaks up on us. That spaghetti monster wants to throw meatballs at me. Thank you, Jason. I love my therapist. He's great. He just makes me laugh, and it really does help the way that he presents things to me. So if you're struggling with it, let's drop in our bodies. I want you to do the homework. I want you to share your homework. So your homework is, this is all about you. Get clear on your priorities, your past struggles, and your wins, because tomorrow we're going to start creating more of this foundation and this profit. But I want to make sure that all of this stuff, this clarity, this foundation is inside of tomorrow's foundation piece, because if not, you're just going to get frustrated. Post in the community, because again, there's cool prizes. So on the agenda tomorrow is the P's, one person, your one passion, play, pleasure, and fun. and your podcast. So I am excited to see you tomorrow. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Go out, make today amazing, because you are beautiful, you are wonderful, you are worthy, and I'll see you tomorrow. Ta-ta for now.